Rod Demery is a retired Shreveport police homicide detective, widely known for his hit show, Murder Chose Me, on the ID channel, and solving 100% of his cases. He says he's eager to begin his new role at Grambling State University.
I'm really excited about being here. Again, it's an extension of what I've done for the last several years in Shreveport. I mean, I've had so many people call, law enforcement officers that I work with from state police, FBI, all these people congratulating and offering their help and support. But probably more important than that, a lot of family and friends that I know in Shreveport and surrounding areas have called and said, hey, my child's coming there this fall. I feel better about it. So, I mean, that really makes you feel good.
I asked him what his primary goal was, and he said securing the campus is at the top of his list.
I think first and foremost is securing the campus. We've been in contact with Homeland Security, National Guard for physical security, and kind of just get the place where it needs to be. On top of that, increasing the relationship with the students and faculty for them to actually understand what we're here for.
In light of the fatal shootings that took place on campus last year, Demery says GSU is still a safe place to be.
We have to provide a sense of security. I mean, part of it is perception. And, whether a crime has occurred or not, or a couple of crimes occurred, people need to feel secure. We need to let them know that an incident is not defining of an institution or location. So I think our first order of business is to show that we're actually hands-on when it comes to security and safety, and let people know that there's actually somewhere they can go.
After talking about beefing up security at Grambling, I had the chance to talk to him about his show, Murder Chose Me. I asked him how did the show come about, and this is what he had to say.
I was working in Shreveport, and I worked the murder of a young girl, a pregnant girl, and a production company called me up and asked me would I do a show with, I think the show was called Fatal Attraction, and they wanted to feature that show, and then they called me back, and they wanted to do another one, and the next thing I know, they asked me if I wanted my own television show, so yeah, it was kind of miraculous.
On the show, he once said anyone can confess committing a murder to him, but they also had to prove it. I asked him to explain.
There are a lot of people that are wrongfully convicted and placed in prison, and a lot of that is based on a confession, and sometimes people confess under pressure or whatever, some sort of duress. My point was is if someone committed a murder and they confessed to murder, I wanted them to prove it to me. I want them to tell me where the gun is. How did you do it? I want that to match up with the evidence that I've collected, not just a blanket statement.
Demery played a major role in finding out the truth about his own mother's murder that happened when he was just a boy. Several years after her death, he interviewed his stepfather while in the hospital after having heart surgery, who admitted to shooting his mother 9 times, but says he thought she was an intruder, a burglar. Demery explained in that moment he knew he was lying, but wanted to know the truth more than anything.
I've been a policeman my entire adult life, so I think I've developed an ability to compartmentalize, and I can kind of separate my emotions from my purpose, and at that moment it was just a purpose. I wanted to actually find out what happened. So as I talked to him and he began to lie, I knew he was lying, but didn't faze me.
Joining Demery is Albert Ernest as Assistant Police Chief at GSU. Both Demery and Ernest are expected to begin their new roles on June 6, 2022. In Grambling for your weather station, I'm Chelsea Monet.